Welcome to Truly Heal and a short overview video where I would like to give you an insight on functional medicine as used in the Truly Heal app and also in our coaching certification or health practitioner certification. The concept of functional medicine is based on understanding the complete system of your client and seeing where disease comes from. What are the root causes that trigger immune response, that trigger the problem that you have as a diagnose. Now, to find that, we would always start with the medical history. And that's something you can do either through questionnaire or through the timeline. Now, we would start first with the questionnaire because it's a lot easier. As you can see, we have a whole range of questions that we would work, or areas of concern that we work through with the client. And we break them usually in three parts. The physical side, which is physical general, medical history, supplementation, digestive health, immune health, endocrine, cardiovascular, respiratory health, urinary health, oral health. You also check for pain assessment, allergy assessment, toxicity. And that's the very first consultation that you work through with your client. And I'll cover in a moment what those flags and the notes mean, but that's afterwards giving you a really beautiful overview. Digestive health is an area of concern and we need to work on that. Immune health as well, endocrine health, hormone problems, and oral problems are very significant, whereas the others don't have that kind of a red flag. In the second assessment, when you work with your client, you would work through the different habits, sleeping habits, drinking habits, exercise habits, dietary habits. This is very important because it really shows, for example, with sleeping habits, what the overall behavior of the client is and how they slowly and, well, probably unconsciously destroy their health. And in the last session, once you've built your rapport, once you're familiar with your client, you would work through psychological health, relationship stress, financial stress, career, social, and spiritual stress, where very many reasons are to really be tired of life or to have such overwhelming problems that the immune system is suppressed. And a lot of people ignore that factor of stress, whereas it's one of the most important. We've seen that patients who did really well, who had incredible results in reducing their cancer, and then all of a sudden had relationship problems, and within a matter of 2 weeks the cancer grew back and doubled and tripled in size because the immune system was completely shut off by the emotional stress. So dealing with those as a third session, once you have built the rapport, once you're familiar with the client, is a very beautiful way to open up a whole network of possibilities how to help to improve the quality of life. Now, let me just open up in regards to taking notes while you work with your client. You have, first of all, if you click on the right-hand side, the little plus, you have all your questions and possible answers or suggestions where you can help the client, and then an explanation underneath why you need to know that. What is relevant for you in that answer? And that is something that is very helpful when you work through and when you ask your questions, especially when you can take at the same time notes. So you would open up on the right-hand side notes, and then you can take, as you answer those questions, all the different symptoms and answers that the client has. Now, if a lot of those things that you ask here, for example, in digestive health, would throw up a red flag and would indicate that's something we need to look at, and there is many different issues, you would mark that very simply with a red flag. And that will give you afterwards a very, very easy possibility to navigate through, as you can see here on the right-hand side, and say, okay, look, these are the areas we need to work first. Oral health is a very significant factor in that as well. Allergy assessment, which is very closely related to gut, and then toxicity assessment. So these are factors that we need to address, and that will help you to find the answers very, very fast. The biggest problem in functional medicine is that it's so complex, too many different areas. For example, endocrine health, if you open up, there is a whole host of questions that give you very clear indications on what the problems are, but then where do you note them, how do you note them, how do you relate them back together into the whole concept. And again, if we see what we made here in notes, it clearly shows you that there is something that needs to be addressed. Now let's just go back, cancel this, and go back very short to our main area, which we started here with medical history. Now we know that endocrine system, hormone health is something we need to address. So we go into body systems and we would open up here, not liver health. Let's just go back to endocrine. So we open up body systems and then would look for endocrine health, which is our hormone system. And that's where it's then broken down. We have thyroid, sex, and adrenal. And again, if we open up sex hormones, they're broken down in male and female, depending on who you work. And then you have all the symptoms, the causes, tests, treatments, everything available at once. Which means knowing from your questionnaire what area needs to be addressed will help you then afterwards work very, very fast through all those areas and give you all the insights. For example, here with thyroid health, you have symptoms for low thyroid function or high thyroid function, causes for thyroid problems, tests that are relevant. And it's always easy to open up, have all the different factors that are relevant and what you need to check, and treatments that are available where you can then focus very, very easily on resolving this issue for the client once and for all. Now we know that the biggest problem that we have in functional medicine is to keep all that in mind, to remember all that and to work through. And this is where you can then make additional notes. Now we have worked with the client through the questionnaire, and we know exactly that in our questionnaire we've noted here digestive health. So if we go back to the main overview and we would go into body systems and then start here with gastrointestinal health, then we can follow through here symptoms, really to dig very deep, gut conditions and associated tests, and then work through with your client through all the different sensitivities, food sensitivities, which are explained with all the different tests, leaky gut, and to get to the root problem. And this is where you then would make new notes. You open up here, as soon as you click on note, a new field, and write down what you've started, what the process is, and then you could flag this area with in treatment. It's still under alarm, so we still have all the issues. They are not yet resolved, which you can then flag with green. Or we've sent off, for example, here for an IgG test, we have sent off a test, and you would note down that you made the test and send it off for laboratory so that you remember afterwards what you need. And this is the whole process. Let's cancel this, but it's a very, very easy way to navigate through a myriad of different possibilities and clearly find what makes the person sick and what prevents their recovery. And nothing can be forgotten, nothing can be left out. Now we've worked through the medical history, we have the body systems. Now there is some very significant problems that we always have that every client needs to address, and that's lifestyle, systemic health, where we look at oxygenation and mitochondria dysfunction and acidosis, acidity in the body. But we also look here at inflammation as an individual subject, because there is hundreds of research studies that prove that inflammation is the cause for many degenerative diseases. So knowing how to address that, types of inflammation, causes, tests for inflammation and treatments for inflammation will give you then a very clear overview on how to address this subject very, very fast. Deficiencies, another issue that needs to be addressed. Many clients that even after spending weeks in clinics come back with massive deficiencies. So how to test that, how to address that, what kind of vitamins, minerals, digestive enzymes, amino acids need to be addressed is all there and very easy to navigate. And then we have infections, another problem that many don't check, but it suppresses your immune system. And that then leads to a host of chain reactions that can be the main trigger or the main cause of your disease, and toxicity as well. And again, psychological health, you can dive in very, very deep into all the different types of stress, symptoms, causes of stress, and treatments where you really resolve the problem by active treatments, changing beliefs, energy treatments that you implement to help the client, herbs and supplements to calm down, to reduce stress, learning how to handle each area of life, and loving your adversaries and problems and challenges, which is another great way to embrace the problem instead of fighting against it. And that's functional medicine. It really incorporates all different elements and helps you get to the root cause of the problem. And if you then add some of those immune modulating therapies or natural anti-cancer therapies, energy medicine, you will see that they work 100 times better, because the milieu of the body has already been transformed. It's already a healing environment, which then allows those remedies to work much more efficiently and faster. All right? Thanks for listening. I just wanted to show you this so that you see that it's actually a manageable exercise, very easy to handle and very easy to navigate with the app and with the training, where you learn about all the different systems, about all the different main causes that trigger the disease and how to resolve it.